All right, and welcome.
Hi, everybody. First off, thank you for tuning in. This is Talkin Dirty with myself, Pat Reiser, and a man who needs no introduction, Brett Hearn. First off, I wanted to take just a quick second to say thank you to Rapid Tire for sponsoring today's event. And I just want to take a hot second just to explain what this show is for, why we decided to put something together, and kind of explain what we're doing here. First off, this show is an opportunity to better connect the track to the people who matter most to us, which is the drivers, the crews, the fans, and anybody else who helps put on events here at Orange County. We want you to hear the information directly from us. And that's how everything is clearly conveyed and how everybody can be on the same page. So, without further ado, Brett, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And quite honestly, tonight's really, even though you're announced for us a couple times, tonight's the first time you really got to sit and chat for a little while and get to know each other. So I appreciate you coming over here and helping us do the show. I mean, really, quite honestly, I'm interested in talking to anybody that has any questions.
What are we going to do?
Talk louder.
We're going to talk about the 2020 season, the 2021 season, whatever anybody out there wants to talk about. Really, and, I know there's a lot of questions about scheduling for 2021 and some of the decisions that were made and how we made them. And we can talk about whatever comes up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still complaining hard here.
How's that? We got us now?
We're working through our first time technical issues, but we'll put you on this.
Hopefully you got us. So I just want to make sure that before we go on, I just want to make sure everybody can hear us. That way, we're not saying things twice. And
let me turn up my volume low.
There we go.
So, just kind of getting right into things here. 2021. What's going on? What's the situation going to be like in 2021?
Well, I think as we all sit here now, January 12th, and still in the middle of a serious health situation and pandemic, and we don't really know. And we see light at the end of the tunnel, but we don't really know exactly where it's all headed. So, in 2021, we had to build an unusual schedule for Orange County. Do some changes to what's been the tradition here of traditional Saturday night big block racing, and we needed to create a schedule that was going to accommodate both small block and big block races. We needed to make a schedule that was going to lend itself better to our streaming, which we anticipate to be at least a big part of our revenue stream, because we don't really know exactly where the fans are going to be back in the stands. Of course, we're optimistic that's going to be sooner than later, but we may have no way of knowing. Now, on the other hand, we have 40 plus small block race teams on a regular night. And for us to maintain the purses at the level that they're at, which are still some of the best in the Northeast on a regular Saturday night track, we can't afford to run small blocks and big blocks. So, what we decided to do was to take these holiday weekends where we normally wouldn't race, or where we haven't raced here in the last few years.
Yeah.
Take these holiday weekends and lead into a Thursday night race. Now, last year's schedule, we for the first time we did a race leading into the 4th of July weekend with USAC, and it was probably one of our most. So we thought, well, let's go into every holiday weekend where we normally wouldn't have a race anyway, and we'll lead in with a Thursday night race. We scaled back the schedule to 12 races for the big blocks, and we anticipate that every one of those races will be special events, very special events, because we'll be able to draw some outside interest from race teams that are locked into another Saturday night track. We'll be able to make every event special. In the meantime, we'll still be able to provide a nice 11, 12 race schedule for the small blocks.
Yeah.
Which will be really interesting for the guys that want to run on a more regular basis.
Yeah, not to be biased, but 12 races or 11 races for the small blocks is pretty nice. It's a refreshing bit of news for at least for the small block schedules. So that's kind of nice. So Thursday shows coming in 2021, which is kind of I don't want to say it's a shock because it's something that we've done, like you said before, like you said with the USAC series, which they're coming back. But that's nice. It's definitely something that's going to be, nice.
Well, Doug Bulgarian brought up to my attention that last year we had, I think, 3 Thursday night races, 3 or 4 Thursday night races or midweek races already scheduled in last year's schedule, and so really all we've really done now is we've added 2 more Thursday nights, and there are 2 weekends that we weren't going to race anyway. So we really added, 2 shows that weren't really going to exist.
Yeah, 2. Or I guess Doug's saying 3 shows now, which is even better. And like you said before, they're going to be leading into holiday weekend. So what better way to start a holiday weekend off with some racing here?
Right. So it serves a couple of different purposes. One is that we can draw guys that are committed to other tracks on weekends, or it doesn't interrupt. If you're a regular guy that just runs Orange County, it doesn't interrupt your holiday weekend. You can still have your family time and do the things that that normal people do all through the weekend. And if you choose to go to another track and race, more power to you.
Yeah, more power to you. Yeah, exactly. And and that's the biggest thing that the Thursday night, at least the whole Thursday night scheduling, at least to me, is jumping out, is that it adds flexibility to just about everybody. Whether it's the Saturday night racer or it may be a case of Friday night racing, they have the ability to come down, spend a night with us, and then still have their Saturday night points or Friday night points.
Right.
So with 2021, kind of the schedule being driven off of the uncertainty of what lies ahead in terms of the rest of the year, what the powers that be allow us to do or don't allow us to do. What does that lead for the spectator side of things? Are we anticipating fans coming in, or are we in is there any news on that?
Well, there's really no news, but I mean, in my mind, I anticipate that at the very least, it'll be a scenario to start with the season. It'll be a scenario where we have the drive-in open, like we were able to open that for Eastern States weekend again. We'll have the drive-in open at the very least, and if this the fact that the Buffalo Bills were allowed to have a certain percentage in the stands, if we can even have 25% in the stands, we have more than enough grandstands here to accommodate, I think, between that and the drive-in, what we need to accommodate. So yeah. I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah, and that's nice. And we at this point we can only hope, because nobody else wants people in the stands more than you guys. You know what I mean? That's absolutely. It's
going to be really interesting to see if if people, I know that everybody's biting at the bit to do something besides sit in their house. Yeah. I know I'm no exception, right? So it'll be interesting to see if people, have still got that interest that they had going into the 2020 season. I really felt like last year at the beginning of the year that we had a ton of momentum. We had great sponsors lined up for everything, and it all kind of blew apart there in the middle of March. But I hope that when we are able to swing the grandstands open again, that everybody's on board and fully on board
and ready to beat the door down to come in and watch some good racing.
I hope so.
So would you like to? What would you like to get into next? We can get into some things that you want to address, or do you want to kind of dive into the point system breakdown?
Well, we could let's talk about how we're going to do the points a little bit, because we are going to use a playoff system. It's not NASCAR. It's not going to be very complicated, right? But so we wanted to build a system that.
Now, not to cut you off, this is for what division?
Okay, this is for now. We'll talk about the big blocks at first, right? So the big block championship is going to pay $25,000, and that's nothing to sneeze at, right? There's no other track that's paying that kind of money for a track championship, especially on a limited schedule, which is a 12 race schedule, if all things work out perfectly,
Yes.
right? So we wanted to come up with something that was going to be a little bit unique, but and some people will say, well, that's not unique, it's copied, it's not, but it's sort of the same format. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to give guys the opportunity to race their way through the point system without having to be here for every single race, but yet when it comes down to crunch time, when we get down to the end of August, going into the last night for the championship, it's going to be darn interesting.
Yeah.
One thing I could probably guarantee is that, unlike NASCAR, the final 4 guys on the last night of racing will not be running in the top 4 spots for the entire race.
That's
okay,
absolutely.
I would almost have to guarantee that.
And the best part is
that always seems remarkable to me.
Yes, yeah. It almost seems scripted, if you will. But so basically, what the big block point system is going to be is there's going to be 12 races, right? And at a set point in time, I'm not sure if we're ready to release that date yet, but at a set point in time, probably around 3/4 of the way through the year.
It'll be after the July 10th race.
After the July 10th race, there's going to be the top 8.
8 will be reset. Right.
Now, the question that's burning in everybody's mind is how are we going to decide the top 8 in the playoff system? Okay. Not necessarily the points system, because they're not. It's the same thing, right? Because that's all we're worried about, the playoff point system. So how are we going to get the top 8?
So we obviously will be accumulating points from the get-go. That'll be from the first event on April 3rd. And when we get to that point of the season where we narrow it down to 8 teams or 8 drivers, they'll be determined by whether you won a race or you were in the top in points. So if we have 7 races, if we have 7 different winners, there will only be one guy that'll make it that wasn't a winner, and that'll be the high point guy. If we have 3 winners, there'll be 5 positions eligible, and that'll come out of the points.
Based off of points.
So
so what you're saying, win and you're in.
Win and you're in.
And if you're not going to win,
better
be a good finish.
Better be in good points, right? So you're going to be up in the points. And then after the championship night, which is the 28th of August, I think
that
it
is correct.
Right. We will narrow the field down to 4. And so we'll reset the points after the July 10th race. After the last championship night, we call it championship night because at that night we determine the champions for the small block sportsman division and street stock.
Yep.
And going into after that race, we reset to 4, and that'll be based on their performance. Again, winning you're in after that July 10th, or being the top guy in points, and you'll be narrowed down to 4. Now, going into the last night, which is a race that was added Labor Day weekend on a Thursday night, it'll come down to those 4 guys, and they will finish in the championship points in the way they finished in the race.
In the way they finished.
So
the race.
the last night of racing is going to be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, and that's it's a breath of fresh air. Right, it's in terms of trying to shake up, the tried and true point system. I personally like it because I don't race a big block, so I don't worry about that. Well, but it's absolutely going to bring more entertainment value to every race that the big blocks have.
Well, that's the big thing, right? So we want to make these big block races, are really going to be special. They're going to be really meaningful for a guy that's going to be, think that he's got a chance to, because if you could race your way into the top 4, you could be the champion.
That's right.
Regardless of you could have not won a race the entire year, and you could still win the championship. And so it's going to keep it really interesting all the way through the season, I think. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some positive reinforcement.
Well,
here.
I think the fans are going to love it. I mean, one of the hard things about this position that I'm in now is that it's such a balancing act between being the racer that I am, and then trying to present entertainment value and trying to balance all these other things out. In the meantime, trying to build a schedule that we can sustain, and we don't have to talk about, dropping purses and stuff like that, and we can make it right for everybody. In the meantime, we'll have a fantastic small block season. We'll use our conventional handicap system for that, as well as the sportsman season, and we hopefully we get off with this rookie sportsman thing like we wanted to do last year.
I was gonna say, it was like, man, like as a product of the rookie sportsman class, I'm very happy to see that on the schedule, which is good for anybody that's trying to get in. Kind of get their feet wet and make the dive into the modified racing. Do you remember way back when you started? Did you start in a rookie or no?
No, actually, I started out in sportsman, which was which would be a small block.
I was going to say, that's not like the traditional sportsman.
Yeah, there were no rookies, but I have to tell you that I'm stealing. I always believed in this rookie system because Flemington was very successful with it. When I first started, they talked a lot about that. And I believe it was more like rookie small block than the rookies. They called it sportsman, but it wasn't the entire season because these shows we want to get them done by 10:30. 10:30, quarter to 11 at the latest, and it's sometimes it's hard. As fast as you go, it's hard. And we started last year at 7:00 at night, try to get a little bit later in the day so we weren't racing on the track so much in the sun, and then it really puts a premium on how much time we have to do extracurricular stuff. It gets a lot of guys that want to get in the sport excited about entering. Gives them a good place to enter, but it doesn't go the entire season. There's an end to the means, right? Which is after 6 races we have graduation night.
Yeah,
and the incentive for the rookies would be to finish first or second in points, because then we'll move them right to the front of the handicapping system when they have to move up to the sport.
Yeah, and and that's a big deal. Moving up is a big deal. I still, I raced a season worth of rookies and then moved up to small block during Eastern States, and that was an experience. But I digress. So new point system for the big block and small block sportsmen are all going to stay traditional handicapped.
Right. We'll outline the handicapping system is outlined on the website. It'll be the same as it was in 2020, or that it was intended to be before we got derailed. But it's going to be exactly like that.
Okay. One question I saw, and if you have any questions, please submit on the comments. Where I'm trying the best I can to grab a couple questions here. Any idea what the pit setup is going to be? Are we going to stay outside? Are we going to try to move inside? Does that conversation haven't even been discussed yet, because you've been working on this schedule? Right. So I didn't mean to answer that question.
we have talked about this, and last year, first of all, I want to thank all the race teams for the cooperation. I mean, having to register early, reserve spots, all the crap that we had to do that wasn't normal, and then being able to pull off Eastern States with over 220 teams here was a tribute to how much cooperation we got from all the race teams. Load them in from the outside, from the inside, having them drive up through the maintenance area. I mean, through the drive-in after the races, all this crazy stuff, right? And if it wasn't for our race teams and our racers, I mean, we would have never been able to do that. As well as our office staff, which was amazing.
Kimmy and everybody else that works here works their tails off every single week, and it's truly a testament to them.
It is, and they don't complain about anything. Doug and I would throw stuff at them every single day, and they'd be answering phones for hours on end, and they were just unreal. So. That being said, when we had to go drive-in only at the beginning of last year, we knew that to be able to sit in the drive-in in in the bottom 2 rows with trailers in the infield is very difficult to see much of anything, and the start-finish line in particular.
Yes.
So we formulated a way that we could line the outside pit area or the fairgrounds, and just basically spread all the race teams out as best we could. Keep things as safe as possible, and as well, we cleared the infield out so that we could
increase the visibility from the drive-in. That being said, until we can open up the grandstands to some degree, even if it's 25%, we'll probably have to park in the outside for a while. If we're able to put a percentage of people in the grandstands and open that up right away, I expect that we'll be back in the infield with the race teams.
Yeah,
which is much easier to manage.
Not only manage, but to try to walk up and down isn't ideal. But I'd much rather walk up and down throughout the fairgrounds here than not race at all.
That's exactly what we're up against,
and that's exactly what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I always say this whether I'm talking on camera or I'm just talking to someone that has no idea what dirt racing is. Dirt racing is a family. Dirt racing is absolutely something that we all pull together, and if we have a common goal, and last year and this year coming, it's going to be to race. We all want to race, and we're going to do what we got to do, whether it's wearing masks, whether it's walking up the fairgrounds. We're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that just, like you said, it's a testament to everybody that was involved, front end staff to race teams. To
a lot of cooperation.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So I am starting to get a couple good questions rolling in.
Are they good questions? Don't snag me.
I understand. I think they're good questions. I think they're good questions. You may not know the answer to them, and that's okay, because the cool part is we may have another show lined up. But just a little teaser. Is there a minimum amount of starts that you need to make to qualify for the playoff?
No. And that is one of the reasons why we wanted to, reset. We wanted to, make it clear that you can race into the next group through points. So you could actually come here, win one race, and you be in the 8, and then you got to start over again.
Gotcha.
So yeah, winning you're in. So you could do it in one race.
Yeah. So you could come in the beginning of the year on
opening night
and win.
And come back after
and
July.
Come back after July.
Right.
Gotcha. And you still be eligible for the $25,000 point
Correct.
championship.
Yep.
But you have to show up
after that.
Yeah, when we're ready.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that was my pretty much answer 2 questions in one there. Invader. So the question was, can an invader come in, lock in themselves? And the answer is yes.
Right.
What about you? Are you racing?
But I have to tell you something though. All these races are going to be pretty special events in their own right. Mm-hmm. So you're going to want to be here anyway.
Yeah.
I think you're going to want to be here anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the schedule, if I have the ability, I'm coming here because the money's here.
Right.
The money's here.
Right.
And let's get down to brass tacks.
Right. When
this doesn't happen without the dollars.
Right.
So that's
especially the big block division.
Absolutely. And Orange County's got it, and it's on the line. So that's good. A lot of people are asking about you, Brett. No surprise. Acting like you have 900 wins or something. I don't know what the big deal is. I'm racing here in Orange County, if anybody's wondering.
And you wouldn't even know that if I didn't tell you to.
Exactly. It's hard to take myself seriously. So a lot of people are wondering. There's been a big announcement with a little track in Tennessee, Bristol. You have any plans on going? Or do you not want to make that announcement yet? Are you thinking about it? Are you still on the fence? What's going on with it? I'm
actually being pressured to go, but I have to.
No.
Yes, I have to. And I think I kind of want to. I mean, we're getting ready for Volusia now, and going to run the 5 nights there. But Bristol is very intriguing, and my ownership and my boys are pretty excited about going there. The only hurdle I have is I've got to clear it with my boss, who employs me for my day job, which is here. So we haven't had that discussion yet. So we'll see how it goes.
That's all right. Hopefully he is watching, and he's already. You know what, Brad? That's all right.
Right.
You do what you need.
Right.
I'm sorry. I was going to say another quick question, but it wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement. I apologize. So you're going to run 5 nights in Florida. And then, do you have anything other than that plan set in stone yet, or is that just
Well,
because I know like you're semi-retired? Because like, what does that really entail for a race car driver? Like, just means you get to pick and choose now.
It
Right?
it just means that I do it mostly for fun, not for pressure, and not run for points and stuff like that. But I'm actually been working hard to get ready for Florida, and looking forward to it quite a bit. We built a new car there going into Oktoberfest last year, and it's just so different. Not doing it strictly for the ability to make a living at it. So
Yeah.
it's I'm in a really great spot with Madsen Motorsports to have a couple cars ready for me when I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the schedule. We had a couple races planned last year. I don't know how many we'll do after that. When we're going to look at Bristol or whatever we're going to look at. I said right from the get-go when I took this job, the focus is to get this right, and that's my focus. The racing part, I'll do in between when I'm able to. I mean, I still like to go back to Oswego to do Dirt Week again if I can this year. Some bigger races at the end of the year. Maybe go back to Charlotte. They want at the Quebec tracks want to do a little bit of a tribute for me. I had a lot of fans from Canada.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they want to do a couple tribute races during the Super Dirt Swing in Canada. Whether or not the border's open, whether that happens, nobody's sure right now. But so that would be another thing I would look at if it even allowed. We have a very busy schedule here, and we have other extracurricular activities besides the races that I'm not really involved in, but I could be involved in. And, again, my focus is going to be getting this place right.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of other kind of changes and stuff like that, you guys are announcing another track here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So a lot of people have gotten their start here at Orange County, but just not on the big track, right?
Right.
So what I'm alluding to is the little track here at Orange County, and that's going to be housing slingshots and just slingshots. Just
Well,
slingshots.
so we're just getting our feet into this thing a little bit, and we've laid out a track size that was recommended by Toby Tobias or Richie. I can call him Toby. Richie Tobias, and it's basically the size that he recommends for like slingshots and micros, and so I think what we're going to do is, and again, this is going to be a project that we're going to take on once the spring comes a little bit and the weather breaks a little bit. We'll start to build this thing, but I'm looking class-wise. I think we're probably going to start out with like 600 wingless sprints and slingshots primarily.
Yeah.
And my thinking is that we in New Jersey, you got to be 14 years old to run a slingshot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are coming from Connecticut, going out to Pennsylvania, North Jersey, going out to Pennsylvania, and I think the feedback that we've gotten has been really positive about doing this here.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody knows the roads of North Jersey, it's going to be you. So yeah, that definitely sounds like a cool spot. I remember the first time I ever saw a slingshot, I was probably around 12 or 13 years old. Was right here, and I think that was actually a night that Brittany Tresh won. Now, I don't know why I remember that, but
I didn't even know she ran those.
yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. Before she got into sprint cars, so yeah. So that's kind of a track change. So yeah, there's that. I love this. This is the part that I love. This is the part that I love. That everybody's just kind of go like, you know what, we're gonna deal with it. Just kind of getting notes from our producer Jake here. And by the way, hell of a crew here putting on the show with Jake, Mr. Delgarian, Mr. Reynolds over there. Absolutely doing a hell of a job.
And they clap for us every once in a while.
Yeah, they do. Every once in a while, yeah, it's like, hey.
They'll laugh.
Yeah,
They'll
absolutely.
laugh.
Yeah, because we're the only two smart enough to get in front of a camera. So is there anything that you want to wrap up with in terms of your portion, in terms of the fans' portion, anything that you want to talk about at all? Or
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of questions about the track prep and some of the things, and I have to tell you that I tell people that the hardest thing about this job is the track prep, and it's not for last year Matt Janiak and I headed the thing up. I mean, I learned so much about how this clay works, and quite honestly, this clay here is as good as it produces great racing. It's very, very finicky, very finicky. And I spent a lot of laps last year running the track in, watering the track, running the tractor with Matt, and I think that we had the track really, really good for a lot of the test and tune sessions.
Yes.
And I really felt going into Eastern States weekend that we really had a good handle on it, and we tricked ourselves into thinking that we needed to make it a little bit smoother, and it cost us a little bit in terms of dust. And then, if we were to look back in retrospect at Eastern States weekend, we probably should have started from scratch and rebuilt the track.
Yeah.
And we thought we were okay. We thought the track was sealing up, and trust me when I tell you that. It doesn't matter if you put 300,000 gallons of water on it. It does not make any difference. It's all about how you prepare the track before you begin to water it.
Yeah.
And I think that I can make it right, but like I told the boss man, I said, until I've done it 5 times in a row, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
And I think I can do that.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can kind of compare it to is that it's a whole lot easy. It's a whole lot easy to say to do it, right? To say those words, but until you go ahead and try, it's quite the task.
All right, so I need to take this opportunity to make a pitch because
go ahead.
My main man Matt Janiak is
Yeah.
going back to racing now that his son's a year old or so, and he's
heard
leaving
it
me.
here
He's leaving me hanging a little bit here. So, anybody who thinks they are an expert in this field, I want you to step forward and give me a call because I'm looking for a crew to help me.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
There you go.
We were here for how long talking about what we were going to talk about, and you didn't lay that one on
Let me
me?
drop that one on you.
Wow. All right. So you heard it here first, folks.
It's your chance.
Brett Hearn is calling out anybody who thinks they know how to prep the racetrack. Yeah, because I told a lot of people a lot of things, not like it really means anything, but I told anybody that would listen to me that I don't want to do that because it's hard. It's hard. You're hitting a moving target.
And trust me, I mean, I didn't have. We had a couple bad rainstorms, and we forced the issue, and we raced. We probably damaged the track more than we should have by doing that. And
but those are all those things that you learn by. It's not that you're learning how to do it right. You're just learning all the ways how to not do it.
Well,
right? You're just checking. You're scratching ideas off
there's-
the list.
There's more ways not to do it than there is to do it.
Absolutely.
And I know, and I say this to people all the time, until we have the perfect racetrack every single race, nothing is going to flow the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Because the track conditions dictate what the fans think, what the racers think, and I want a track that guys are going to go home and say, "Wow, that was fun," and that's the way it should be.
And the race that sticks out in my mind, and the only race that I was on the edge of my seat from lap 1 to lap however long it was the Centennial race. The Centennial race was by far the best race I've ever seen, and unfortunately, you were in it, right? So you didn't get the outside fan perspective, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
But it was such a good race. TV, like they did a great job on TV and producing everything all the hype and all of the footage that they got, but it doesn't do it justice if you weren't there. Right. And that's the type of racetrack that is here.
Yeah, that's the potential.
That's
Potentially
absolutely
what it could be.
That's
right?
absolutely
and what it should be.
Absolutely.
Mother Nature helped immensely.
Yeah,
And
but
that doesn't always happen. But if we could get that
exactly
every race,
exactly,
it would
there's
be phenomenal.
There's what we're shooting for.
That's
it's just
exactly
figuring
what we're
out how to do it.
Exactly.
And I got to tell you, that's what this show is here for, right? And I guess I'm not really talking to you. You already know what the show is here for. It's your idea. That's what the show is here for. We're here to make sure that you understand what this guy is thinking, right? Making sure that Everything is absolutely crystal clear, and you don't have to go to a message board to try to figure it out for yourself. You can just listen to Brett say it because he wants you. We should create a meme. Jake, you should create a meme of Uncle Sam with Brett's face on it, pointing at, we want you to
To run the track.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to be a Packer
That's right.
driver?
This is your shot.
It's not that bad.
It's really not.
No, it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, because there was a few times where I was walking in, I was like, "Is that Brett? That's Brett. All right, good for him, man." And every time I saw you, ear to ear, buddy,
Yeah,
you were smiling.
it was good. It was quiet. It's nice, peaceful.
Quiet. That's right. So, yeah, if that's not a way to kind of transition, I don't know what is. Unless you've got more, stuff up your sleeve.
No, I might. You just keep talking to me. Something will come out.
Street stocks, a lot of street stock questions.
A lot of street stock questions. We are going to have street stocks this year.
Yes.
There is going to be a championship point system, much like there was last year. And that's all I know about street stocks.
so,
you should probably talk.
Nostalgia night.
We have Full Fender Nostalgia Night. That would probably be the highlight of the street stock season.
Yep. Market Traverse Nostalgia Night.
Right. There'll be a 10-race schedule. We're hoping that, we were a little low on car counts last year. We were hoping that, I was hoping that the cost of, how we had to pre-enter and all the nonsense that we had to go through that it hindered some of the competitors. We had a crash-filled Eastern States race, but a very interesting one at that, and we had a pretty decent car count.
Yeah.
I would like to see at least 15 in the car count
Yeah.
for street stocks, and hopefully we get back to some kind of normalcy. So the cost to get in isn't as much as it was, or enter isn't as much as it was, and guys can get back out here and participate.
Yeah. The Market Traverse Full Fender Nostalgia Night, along with Nostalgia Night, kind of going back and forth with that. That's
Now, of course, the other thing about the schedule is that this is the first outline. There's going to be some surprises that may come up in this thing in terms of other events that are going to be scheduled, or for instance, we're looking at potentially trying to find a date for a pro stock race. We've had a lot of guys ask about that, or maybe bringing them to Eastern States. I don't know. We'd like to get some feedback on that to see if the pro stocks are viable for at least one event here. It's hard to do them on a weekend because most of the pro stocks run, at Malta or Lebanon Valley and are tied into points and so on. So to get a full field here on a Saturday night for one race would be difficult. But so we are looking at that. But there might be a couple more surprises as well.
Ooh, wow. That's quite the bomb that you might or might not drop, Brett. Yeah, it's like you're almost a promoter. So it's wild why you got the job that you have. So that's that. Yeah. As much as I really would like to just elaborate on that,
Right.
I'm not going to, because it's doing what it's supposed to. And it's creating buzz. It's creating conversation, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. This is when I'm going to ask when you want to transition in the show, or you just want to keep taking.
If there's questions, I'm willing to talk to anything.
Here's somebody asking more sprints. What about sprint shows?
Ooh.
That might be in that last little teaser that I just said. That's definitely in consideration. We're looking at a couple different things, and it's just a little too early. Like I said, the schedule is going to evolve.
Yeah, and that's the other. That's like so. This show is almost going to be like a double-sided sword, because as great as it's going to be, we don't want to give everything away and then have to take it away, which isn't exactly fun to do either. But it's part of the business. Unfortunately, things happen.
Right.
But yeah, that was a great pickup there.
So I'm seeing they're actually. I just noticed these questions are bombing in here in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
So
they don't.
Yeah,
the car show is one.
The car show. I saw the car show probably most definitely is not going to happen because of all the restrictions, and the middle of March is. I don't think we're going to be in the clear yet for any kind of indoor activities. But one thing that we do want to mention that we are going to try to get on the track the weekend of the 27th and 28th for open practices let guys get a full shakedown on everything they've got ready for the season. And, you know, the practices have been good for twofold. One is for, you know, guys to shake their stuff down and for my new track crew to get the track ready.
That's right. That's
A couple
right.
comments about concerts here at the Speedway. Anything to talk about on that?
Well, the concerts really, they're not really in my wheelhouse completely, but there's some planning. Again, it's so hard under these circumstances to plan anything right now, but there have been dates that are being discussed. Most of them are the latter half of the summer.
I'm just reading.
Yeah, I am
sorry.
too. I am too.
I
Same
didn't
thing
mean
here.
to, I don't mean to, you know, have radio silence here, but yeah,
Let's bring in Peter.
perfect.
Okay.
So-
Well, I'll step out, and you want to talk to Peter?
Yeah,
See what
I
he's got
mean-
to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So this is Peter Reynolds coming in. Brett, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
and,
you.
And,
I know
and
we're not-
being on your own show.
I know we're not supposed to shake hands, but sorry about that.
That's all right.
Peter Reynolds.
Good evening, Pat.
Hey, what's up, Peter?
How are you?
I'm having an absolute blast. I really do appreciate everything that you are that you're doing here. So you got something for us? What's
I got a
going
lot of
on?
stuff here. So Crackers Motorsports Marketing is very excited to announce that we'll be back at Orange County Fair Speedway and working with the OME management staff on doing sponsorship, marketing, community relations. And what we really want to work on is building business partnerships with businesses within the Orange County and within the community for sponsorship. So, and part of the deal this year is just not the racetrack. Last year, the focus was getting sponsorship and getting marketing partners for just the racetrack.
Yeah.
So this year, I've been asked by the OEM leadership to also work on getting business relationships together for the motocross, the new Victory Speedway, along with this year they had the first time Christmas Light Expo that was put together I was told in 4 weeks they put that whole show together for the first show.
And I've heard great things about it. It was awesome.
And they want to expand it, and so one of my responsibilities will be getting people from the community to participate and also to be sponsors of the show.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It sounds like a lot on your plate, Pete. But if anybody knows you, there really isn't quite a plate big enough for you, is there?
This is all fun. So also part of building this business relationships, I got to thank Rapid Tire. And one of the things that we're trying to do with our sponsors who are committed to the 2021 season is to get them more involved and to get them more. So if you'd like to be a sponsor of the Speedway and you would like to be a sponsor of this show, please contact me and we'll work out the details. Some of the things that we also did is that I'm very excited to announce that OME and Orange County Fair Speedway just joined the Orange County Chamber of Commerce, and we'll be participating with the Chamber of Commerce, and for us to develop business partnerships with businesses throughout Orange County and to get them involved in the racetrack, and for Orange County Fair Speedway to be involved with the Chamber of Commerce and to get more involved with the community.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah. This is anybody that has grown up in Orange County and has been involved in anything that goes on. It's a large part of the community, no matter how far back you kind of look. But,
So with that, if anybody from the Orange County Chamber of Commerce is watching tonight, we would like to welcome you here.
yeah, absolutely,
thank you.
absolutely. But Pete, I know you always got something up your sleeve, much like Brett does. You got anything else for us?
Yeah, well, you talk about big plates. So part of the negotiations this year, I'm very excited to announce that I also will be working with the Halmar Friesen Racing team for the 2021 season. I'll be working with the management team and the marketing team from Stuart Friesen. Have an opportunity to do business partner relationships for the NASCAR truck team, the new late model team, and of course Stewart's championship winning dirt modified. So the idea came, this is a great idea. We have these two great business entities working together. We'll be working on business partnerships regionally here for the racetrack for Orange County Fair Speedway, And then we'll have an opportunity with Stu Friesen's Dirt Modified team to work on a regional, the entire Northeast, with businesses to create these partnerships and sponsorships, and then work nationally with the NASCAR truck team. So the opportunities are tremendous for us to work with OME on sponsorship and branding.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that note, I really need to say thank you to everybody at the Speedway, at OME, and everybody in between. To say thank you for reaching out to me to kind of be a part of this whole journey. I obviously need to thank Rapid Tire for sponsoring this week's episode, and we will be back on air on November 26th.
January.
Excuse me, January. Oh, not November.
You said November.
That's a long way away.
Oh, boy.
January 26th. And please make sure that you are following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere else. I'm throwing stuff now. But, Jake, have I missed anything?
Full races on YouTube.
Full races on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Anybody that's up at 2 a.m. like I am and can't sleep, that's
documentary series.
Yes. Yeah, the Fox Sports series is going to be on there, or is on there. I apologize.
And that we will get all of our information on the Orange County Fair website.
Yes.
For information.
Yeah.
Schedules, news, updates.
Absolutely. Yeah.
OrangeCountyFairSpeedway.net.
And if you're a racer and you want to see the mistakes that you made, YouTube's a great spot to go and relive your nightmares. Apparently, So
Rec reels get a lot of views.
Yeah. So anyway, again, want to thank Rapid Tire. Want to thank everybody that's tuning in. My goodness, there's a lot. Jake, you did great.
Come back next week. Ask more questions. If we didn't get to your question, ask it again.
2 weeks.
Yes,
Maybe we will.
Yes, January 26th. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.